Every other mammal on Earth stops drinking milk after infancy. Your dog, your cat. Every lion, every whale, every chimp. Drinking milk as an adult is baby behavior, and biology is supposed to shut it off. But a few thousand years ago, some humans broke that rule so hard it rewrote their DNA. The reason they did it isn't cute. It's one of the grimmest survival stories hiding in your body. Let's start with the rule everyone else follows. Milk is baby food. It exists for one job, to feed an infant until it can eat real food. To digest it, a baby's gut makes an enzyme called lactase. Think of it as a pair of molecular scissors, snipping the sugar in milk into pieces small enough to absorb. No scissors, and that sugar barrels straight through you undigested. And for almost every mammal that has ever lived, the body stops making those scissors after weaning. This isn't a malfunction, it's good engineering. Why keep building a tool for a food you're never supposed to eat again? So the tap gets switched off. The animal grows up. Milk is left behind with the rest of childhood. Which is why, if your cat could talk, it would tell you that the milk you gave it is quietly wrecking its stomach. And let's be honest about what milk even is. It's a fluid an animal's body makes to feed its own newborn. And here we are, fully grown, drinking it. From a different species. That's the part we've all quietly agreed not to think about. For most of human history, we were exactly the same. An adult who drank fresh milk got what any lactose-intolerant person gets today. Cramping, bloating, gas, and worse. The body simply couldn't handle it. And here's where the story gets strange. Because we started farming milk anyway. Thousands of years ago, humans domesticated cattle, sheep, and goats, and began milking them. We built entire ways of life around a food that, at the time, most adults physically could not digest. We were producing gallons of something that made us sick, for thousands of years. That's not a detail. That's a mystery, with a body count attached. So how did they get away with it at first? They cheated. If you let milk sit, bacteria go to work on it and eat up much of the lactose, the exact thing that makes people sick. Turn milk into cheese, into yogurt, into butter, and you strip out most of the sugar. Our ancestors weren't drinking milk straight. They were fermenting it into forms their guts could tolerate. Culture solved the problem before biology did. And some populations, like herders in Central Asia, still rely almost entirely on that trick, staying lactose intolerant to this day while living on dairy. So the mystery deepens. If fermenting milk already worked, why did evolution bother rewriting our DNA at all? Somewhere in the last several thousand years, a mutation appeared. A tiny change that did something no adult mammal is supposed to do. It kept the lactase tap running for life. Suddenly, a person could drink raw milk, straight from the animal, and feel nothing. Scientists call it lactase persistence. And when it appeared, it spread through some populations faster than almost any gene we've ever found. In evolutionary terms, it went off like a bomb. For a gene to spread that fast, it can't just be handy. It has to be life or death. And this is the filthy part. Think about what being lactose intolerant actually does to you. On a normal day, it's miserable but survivable. An upset stomach, a bad afternoon. But now imagine you are already starving. The crops have failed. You are weak, malnourished, running on nothing. In that state, a bout of violent diarrhea isn't an embarrassment. It's a death sentence. It drains the last water and nutrients from a body that had none to spare. Now look at what's standing in the field during that famine. The animals, still alive, still producing milk. When the grain is gone and the harvest has rotted, milk is food that walks around and refills itself every single day. So picture two starving people. One drinks the milk raw and it runs straight through them, and they die. The other has that mutation, drinks the same milk, keeps every calorie down, and lives. Do that over and over, across generation after generation of famine and disease. And the outcome is brutal and simple. The people who could drink milk survived the hunger. The people who couldn't were quietly erased. The leading explanation for why this gene exploded isn't a love of dairy, it's famine and sickness. Milk as the emergency food that only some bodies could safely use when everything else ran out. And it's so useful that evolution invented it more than once. Lactase persistence didn't appear in just one place. It arose separately in Europe, in Africa, in the Middle East. Different mutations, same desperate solution, stumbled onto again and again by people facing the same brutal math. Which leaves us somewhere strange today. Most adults on Earth still can't fully digest fresh milk. Lactase persistence is the exception, not the rule. A recent local rewrite that's only a few thousand years old. If you can pour a tall glass of milk and feel fine, you are not doing something normal for a mammal. You are carrying the scar of an ancient emergency, a mutation that exists because somewhere back down your line, milk was the only thing between your ancestors and starvation. So, no, we didn't start drinking milk because it was delicious. We kept it down because the ones who couldn't didn't survive to have us. Every glass of milk is a monument to a famine you'll never see, and the ancestors who barely lived through it. If this changed the way you look at what's in your fridge, subscribe. Every week, we dig up the ancient reasons behind the things you do without thinking, because the strangest part of being human is how much of it you never chose.